This is the Frugal Gardener, and if you are familiar with my channel, you probably recognize this. This is my mini greenhouse. Now, this year, I'm doing something different. I've made improvements to this, but we'll talk about that later. Right now, I want to talk to people who are thinking about winter gardening, maybe for the first time. Maybe you're home because of the virus, or maybe you just want to grow some extra food. Now, several people have told me they don't have the funds for something like this. This is not, it's not expensive, but to do this the way that I have it set up, I have a heat lamp up here, I have a timer, and a few other things going. It'll probably set you back a couple $100. So, if you want to do this on the cheap, you should try this. This is the new addition to my garden. This is what I call my rustic garden, built by my son-in-law this spring. But you notice, if you've seen it before, there's a difference. If you haven't seen it before, this PVC pipe should give you a clue. So what I've done is basically measure this out. This is roughly 5 feet by probably 6 feet. And this is the frame. What's going to go over the frame is this plastic. I'm just showing this as an example. This is 6-ply, that's all I use. I live in zone 6B, and even though it mostly goes down to the 20s at night, at least once a season, once during the winter, temperature drops to below 0. The last couple of winters has dropped to -2. Now what I have planted in this bed is greens. Basically, these are mustard greens. The whole section here is going to be mustard greens, and I'm going to go over the rest of it later, the rest of my garden later. And somewhere in here the wind has blown it over are these clips here. I got these clips from Home Depot. I think they're about $2 a piece. The PVC pipe is the only other thing that I brought. Well, that and these connectors here, you measure it out. We're going to do a video on the whole thing. But for those of you who are getting ready or are planning to garden this winter, I wanted to show this to you. This ran me roughly 40 bucks. It's obviously DIY, and you can raise it if you want to make it taller, but this is a little less than 2 feet high, which will suit my purposes. So this is kind of a mini video from the series. I'm going to do an entire series on all 4 growing stations. That's right, 4. I have 4 growing stations this winter instead of 2, and basically I'm going to walk you through step by step how I set them up, what I planning, and what I'm planting. So once everything's in the ground, I'm going to give you guys updates. I call this my Endless Summer series. So again, for roughly 40 bucks, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward to put this together. Plant your seeds, throw this over it, clamp it down, you're good to go. In a couple of months, well, roughly 3 months, you'll have some leafy greens. I'm also growing carrots and a few other things, but I'll get into that in probably the next video. So please follow the series and give it a shot, especially if you're home, bored, and want to save a few dollars in the long run by growing your own food. This is the Frugal Gardener. Remember what I always say, when you grow your own food, you know where it comes from. Catch you later.